A Legacy Art Journal tag, Places You've Lived. Here I'm taking some of my colored paper towel and I'm simply Mod Podging the quote that I've picked for the front of the tag to the green paper towel. The saying says, no matter where life takes you, you don't forget where you came from. The jelly print that I've picked to put this on has green in it, and I selected the color green because the province that I come from is Saskatchewan, and I've lived there pretty much my entire life, and I just wanted something symbolic that went along with that. I love using the paper towel to give texture. This is the first time that I thought of putting it as a frame around my letters, and it won't be the last time because I like how it sets off the letters against the jelly print behind it. Gives that little bit of texture and a little bit of color. Just trying to get a pleasing arrangement of words and just adhering it to the jelly print with Mod Podge. Just covering it all with Mod Podge just to make sure it adheres. Getting a little bit in the sides, some of the jelly print was coming off the edges. Just splattering it with gold. And picking up the gold with the paper towel to use in another project. Quick dry. Now we turn to the other side of the tag, and I'm just brushing on a layer of white gesso. This is Liquitex, but any brand can be used for the purposes of this. That was what I was able to get my hands on. I have a variety, whatever's on sale, whatever I can get my hands on. going to be using my Inktense blocks, and I'm just applying it onto the gessoed area, green and yellow again, matching the colors to the jelly print and the arrangement in the front so that the whole tag has some cohesiveness. Activating it with water and my finger, adding more color as I go. Adding more layers of color. Kind of mixing it now with a sponge, with a makeup sponge. Adding more color. And then I'm deciding that I want more solid color, so I am using the Liquitex Basics in the green and yellow color as well. And kind of liking the print of the sponge. Now I'm taking my cube, I think this is from Stampendous, and stamping while I'm drawing with the other hand. And you can see that it leaves a impression in it as you dry the acrylic paint. This is something I found out by accident, but I really like the subtle texture that it gives. Outlining with a dark green Inktense block. Just activating it with a brush. It may be black, I can't remember. Decide I want a little bit more, so I'm applying Martha Stewart's gold onto my Stampendous block and just pressing it just to get a little bit more texture and relief. And again, tie it into the gold that's on the front of the tag. Now here is a map of Saskatchewan, and yes, Saskatchewan is that shape. And I was at one point going to Mod Podge the map onto the card. And then I decided to use it as a, not a stencil, the opposite of a stencil, mask. And I put some black craft paint that I'm applying with a sponge just to get the shape. And yes, I needed a cutout for this shape, but that wasn't my intention. So there I have Saskatchewan, the shape of Saskatchewan, and all highlighted, all nice and green. I'm really loving how this card turned out. I had absolutely very limited idea of how this was going to happen, and it just magically came to me. I love when creative moments happen like that. So I'm applying some black around the edges with the applicator and acrylic paint. I discovered in the last on the last tag that this works, and if you pounce out the acrylic paint, the pad stays quite nice, doesn't get all hard at all. So it will be a technique that I use often. So on this map, I have the places that I've lived, which are pretty much from the east to the west, and I'm puncturing holes to represent the places that I've lived so that they will go on underneath. I'm just kind of marking where these places are. When I make my file folder, Legacy one, for this first part, just the basics, I will add the details about what I did in each of these places where I live specifically. So they are all marked there, and you can see they were all in Saskatchewan. So again, I printed this off on paper a little heavier than copy paper, again using the Fish Fingers free font that I downloaded. And if you just Google that, you'll be able to find it. I'm going to adhere it to a piece of green paper towel so it matches the front. As I was doing this tag, I was reminded of a concert that I had gone to of Alan Jackson, sorry, Brain Freeze. And at the end, he had a video that he played of all the local scenes, which was in Saskatoon, to his song Where I Come From. And so that was going through my head this whole time. So I'm just Mod Podging this on. And a quick dry. I just decided that each of these places needs a little bit to stand out a little bit more, and I'm just using a stylus and applying the craft black paint. And I decide that I want this to be a little bit shiny, so I'm applying Liquitex pouring medium, and it will make it quite glossy and shiny and bring out the texture and the prints that are there. So it's quite shiny and lovely. And I'm doing the same to the front, as I want the front and the back to read cohesively. And there you have it. No matter where life takes you, don't forget where you came from. Saskatchewan. Thank you very much for watching and subscribing to my channel. Be sure to subscribe and you won't miss any upcoming Legacy Art Journal videos.